29.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
Wells Fargo, number 29.
I know, I'm a mess.
I'm gonna walk out there. I think that's it right there. So I'm gonna walk out here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Doc Holliday's saloon now.
So it had different locations in Tombstone. They were the major carrier of bullion, payroll, and mail in the early years. Can you read this off?
No, just the you already got it. Just do some of it.
The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad would affect its business. The Central Pacific refused Wells Fargo's business and contracted with the Union Express Company, with a devastating effect on Wells Fargo. In 1918, the federal government combined all the express companies and only the banking portion retained the Wells Fargo name. It merged with the Union Trust Company in 1923.
Kalischer's General Merchandises.
Number 30.
That building right there,
Which
number
is
30.
518, I think, is where it is.
All right, let's walk over there. And this, we've had this, like I think it's an air or water drill type thing. We've had this in other videos. Yeah, this is the old one. It looks like, I don't know if it's, oh, it looks, well, this place not really in business anymore. Look at that. I'd say that needs some renovating.
It's kind of interesting because here's 29, that's where we just were.
Right.
30's across the street. 31's over here, but this thing says 31. So that's weird.
What?
It says 31,
Right.
and it says the right thing. It says Mr. Kalischer.
Okay, well, and then the other one's Birdcage, so they just numbered it wrong.
Yeah,
in
they
their
just
book.
numbered it wrong.
Kalischer's merchandise, there's not much left to it. It's just all, that's about as disrepair as you can get.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to shore that up or your buildings are gonna fall
Got
next
the
to
dirt
it.
there.
Kalischer was a California company that opened a store in Tombstone in 1879. They sold general merchandise as well as lumber. Interesting. All right.
It says there was a great deal of hostility towards the young man by people whose businesses would have been damaged if the fire had spread. Kalischer was tried for arson. However, in spite of circumstantial evidence, he was acquitted. He left Tombstone shortly after. E.T. Hardy and Company moved into the location.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the Birdcage was built in 1881 by William and Lottie Hutchinson on the site of the accidental killing of Fred White, Tombstone's
Which was
first elected marshal.
Right, he was like right here in the street, I guess.
After the fire of 1881 destroyed two other theaters, the Birdcage became the city's only other theater except for the Shefflin Hall. Under the direction of Hutchinson, it quickly became a first-class and successful variety theater,
All right.
bringing professional artists and performers to Tombstone. There are those who described it as notorious, bawdy, and wicked. It is said that no respectable lady would set foot in the Birdcage, and that troops performing in Tombstone had to perform at Shefflin for the respectable citizens to attend. The Birdcage was never considered respectable despite efforts to make it so. The Birdcage had different names over the years, including the Elite and the Olympic. It closed as a theater in 1892 and has been a museum over the years, but it is the original 1881 building.
There's the Birdcage, number 31, part 2.
Yeah.
Yep. And then again, right here, this is where Curly Bill. That's number 33
Yeah.
right here. So where's number 32?
32 is it's right over there, which no longer exists.
Oh,
Where that parking lot is.
Oh, okay.
That's 32, and it was the red light district. It's now a parking lot.
Wow. So
So
we don't need to do much about that.
no, prostitutes were often the first females to arrive. 34 is the Russ House. Okay, the Russ House. Russ House was opened in December of 1880 by Sal Anderson and Jacob Smith on this corner. It was adobe with a large veranda in view of the mines. It was a lodging house with spring mattresses, reading rooms, and one of the largest dining rooms in Tombstone. Wow. Russ House is the most closely associated with Nellie Cashman. She operated it with Joseph Pacioli when he purchased it in 1881. Their first large dinner was October 2nd, 1881, with a quite extensive menu. Nellie was well known for setting
Let's
a
walk over to the plaque.
scrumptious table.
I wonder if you can still stay there. It says the hotel welcomes you.
Oh, maybe. She was associated with Russ House on and off until 1886. Nellie operated several businesses in Tombstone, including the Nevada Boot Shop, the Arcade Chop House, cash store, grocery and general merchandise, and the American Hotel, sometimes partnered with Pacioli. When her brother-in-law died, she took in her sister, Miss Cunningham, and her 5 children. Often Nellie operated one business and Mrs. Cunningham another until her sister's health failed. Nellie was very well thought of by all, and her customers were very loyal. There is an anecdote that a customer objected loudly being served beans at her restaurant. One of her regulars approached the complainer with his hand on his weapon and said, "You eat them beans." The beans were quickly consumed and Pace returned. Nellie Cashman left Tombstone in Arizona in 1887. Russ House had several owners over the years. In 1902, it was refurbished and reopened as a lodging house. In 1915, it was again remodeled as a hotel with a walk surrounding the property. In 1959, it was completely gutted by fire, but the exterior adobe walls were left standing. Mr. Floyd and Minnie Lafrun rebuilt and expanded Russ House by 10 rooms into a hotel. Russ House is no longer a lodging house or hotel, but it remains a popular Tombstone restaurant. It is one of Tombstone's historic buildings.
Now, according to this, you can
So now it is.
individually decorated rooms. So
Oh.
if you're interested, russhousetoombstone.com, you can stay. Maybe we'll have to do
So
that.
they turned it back into a
Yeah,
hotel.
maybe we'll have to do that. That looks.
Is it still a restaurant?
Yep,
Can you be on our video? Are you okay?
Oh,
Yeah, you're fine.
If I
Okay.
don't break your camera, you're
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
yeah, the real hard history, everybody misses it, but I'll give you the insight.
Thank
Look at the
you.
patent date on that handle.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow.
Was it 1880 what? 91? Did
80.
it say?
No, that's
1881?
80. Isn't that January 23rd? And it said 89 back when 2 digits meant something. So 1889, right?
1889.
So they weren't worried about Y2K back then. So.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Original side and back walls artfully retained. It was a separate little adobe bungalow. We were lucky to get to jail.
Wow.
Things happened before we got there.
Oh, wow.
This is probably where Herb and Marshall White, farted, picked their nose, whatever they
Yeah.
did in between getting shot. Poor
Wow.
Wow.
Well, thanks for that.
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, just
And I like
up
that.
to date.
Yeah, and the Airbnb thing is
Oh,
really
it's
cool.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
5 units. This is your common area for relaxation, 24/7.